critical knowledge. I need this really to go out for Americans more than anybody, but it's huge for Canada, huge for Canadians. We need to talk about numbers. We need to talk about Donald J. Trump's major Chinese student announcement. 600,000 new communist Chinese students going to be welcomed into the USA. Why? What does it mean? What are the effects of the U.S. system in education? We have to just roll this back a step. And as a Canadian, this is critical knowledge Americans, mega Americans, need to understand. You need to understand the plan, the strategy here, why Donald J. Trump is making this move. And I'm going to start with facts that anybody, this is undeniable, anyone can pick up their phone, tablet, any internet search, you will learn the truth, because you will never beat me on this research. And it started for me in 2019 and how far gone Canada really is. Americans losing it from MAGA on President Donald J. Trump, saying, how dare you, 600,000 communist Chinese students. Well, folks, that is a piss drop in the Canadian bucket of foreign students. A piss drop. What do I mean? The United States of America has 342 million people. Those in the higher education, this is college and university, all levels, post-secondary onward. There are 19 million Americans enrolled this year in school. 95% of American students, it was 97.6 American before this announcement. Yes, Donald J. Trump has doubled Chinese student enrollment, actually a little more than doubled from last year. There's also India students. There's also many BRICS nation students going to the United States, but it's a piss drop in the bucket, meaning out of 19 million, there's a little over 1 million students who are foreign in the United States. The lowest amount per person per capita worldwide. There is no other country, especially here in North America, that can boast American numbers on American students in colleges and universities. Do you know, for Americans and Canadians, if you didn't know, it is the opposite numbers in Canada, literally in the 96th percentile. Foreign students, non-Canadian foreign students, yes, from China, massive from India, way outpacing the United States of America. Our foreign students are higher than the total foreign students of the United States. Higher. We're 10 times less than your population. When you break it down, 19 million divided by 10 means 1.9 million domestic if USA was the same size as Canada. Well, that's not the numbers in Canada. There's less than 100,000 Canadians enrolled every year in post-secondary university or higher. In fact, we have 1.1 million foreign students, and we're 10 times less than your population. Do the math. We are completely opposite of the United States. Should Americans be wary that they've moved from 97.6% domestic to 95% with Donald J. Trump's announcement? The answer is no. He's scooping up everything of Canada. He's preparing to drive Canada into the toilet in education, as he has done trade, as he's done foreign investment, And he's using this small move, which really hits MAGA, but for MAGA folks to really understand the devastation this does to Canada, as it's a deal with Beijing in order to limit BRICS, to bring BRICS back to the American table, to neutralize Canada economically, financially, and intellectually. These are critical areas that will devastate Canada and lead Canada to the 51st state. Look at the Chinese foreign student enrollment in Canada. Go look at India. Our numbers for a country 10 times less the size in population of USA are higher than the United States' current numbers. By Donald J. Trump doubling it, he's siphoning off Canada's. He's restricting Canada's, meaning breaking Canada institutions. He said we need to do this in order to save American institutions and flatline Canada's. Flatline Canada's trade, flatline Canada's economy, flatline all foreign investment for the next 3 years. Make a deal with China, because China and Canada are like this right now. And India's with Canada. Absolutely. They already said, stuff it, USA. How far will India go if they lose China? Lose China and Russia, India's going to break too. And for Americans who don't understand this, America, 342 million people. China, 1.5 billion people. India, 1.1 billion people. And Russia at the top of that ladder. Canada swinging violently against USA over to China, India, as it has been all along. I just published earlier today, I went to the unemployment office back in Alberta. Haven't visited anything like that in 14 months. Welcome to the new immigration office, Service Canada Immigration Office. Even employment minister changed to immigration minister. It's all about foreigners, as our university and colleges have been for a number of decades. We educate China. We educate India at alarming rates more than 10 times that of the United States. This move by Donald J. Trump is a devastating blow if MAGA didn't figure it out against Canada and Canada's radical immigration, radical foreign students. Again, Americans, you have no idea what education looks like when our numbers are reversed, meaning you're panicking about 5% of your education levels being foreign, whereas Canada is already over 95% foreign students, meaning domestic Canadians generally don't go to college and university, not in high college university, meaning post-secondary, higher degree, or 2-year programs of the higher impact. It's all foreign students by BRICS countries, led by India and China, number one, beyond anything in the United States, beyond anything fathomable for any American ever. And this move by Donald J. Trump, which everyone's panicking on, again, sweeps another set of legs out for Canada and its corrupt crown. You know, your massive northern neighbor that's in bed, invested heavily in communism and caste system. Why? Because we're a constitutional monarchy. We're moving away from USA to the BRICS. That's what all our politicians are doing. This move by Donald J. Trump is directly related to making a deal with China to cut Canada out, to cut off Canada's legs. And if you don't understand where the world's going with what looks obviously to be Russia's major expansion, USA needs to secure the Arctic, because Russia's got China and India. And China and India have their claws knee-deep in the corrupt, conservative, liberal, always party system in Canada. that does not mean the same thing as Republican and Democrat. Not even remotely close, not even measurable. Corruption beyond all limits of reasonable imagination of any American is the reality of Canada. Beyond what you could ever contemplate or come up with. It's even worse than you can ever imagine in your worst nightmares. That is the living truth of Canada. This is what Donald J. Trump is fighting. And it's important for everybody to get it out there because no one will give it to you straight. But all I ask from any American or Canadian why this has to be shared, because I have it all. I've done it for years and years. In 2019, just in the province of Alberta that Americans think is so glorious, I took an independence candidate through one of the ridings, our major university of Alberta, the University of Alberta. It's a huge university, the University of Alberta. Guess how many English-speaking first language or Canadian citizens were anywhere in those dorms or anywhere in the university living? The answer was 1 in 400 door knocking if you were lucky. Me not Canadian, me no. Over and over. China, India, you name it, everywhere but a born-bred Canadian. In fact, University of Alberta, probably less than 2%. I give you a whole number of 5% Canadian. This is lower colleges too, because it's all encompassing. But those highest education institutions, almost all foreign. That's the reality. That's where Canada's been and has gone decades ago. If people don't know this, this is truth. I shot it all live in 2019, and that candidate, that young Canadian candidate who was so into it, was just shocked. He's never been the same since. Has no use for Canada or Canada's system because that broke him. That broke him. Just door knocking that took 3 days. When I can do a candidate door knocking to get their signature sheets filled, probably within the average of about 2 hours. 3 vested days just in that riding for the University of Alberta, because it's almost impossible to find a Canadian-born Canadian citizen there. They're an extreme minority. Americans could never believe this, understand it, but the beauty is you can all look it up with any internet search. You can look at Statistics Canada. You can look at the Bureau of Statistics in USA, and you get all the numbers. Completely opposite. And while Mega should be alarmed at the number, the more than doubling of Chinese students, at the same time, you must understand it's to knock down Canada, your number one trading partner, where you have a massive trade deficit. It's narrowing, but USA needs to move. Trump can't be empty or hollow or weak threats. He must break Canada. It's North America. If Americans don't understand their national security, how important this is, the Arctic, NORAD, NATO, the rest of it, at home in North America, I don't know what to tell you. But he's doing all the right things. It needs to be done. This video needs to be shared. It's probably the only one of its kind, and it's so easy for anyone to do the searches, and you will find my numbers deadly accurate, backed up on all the government website statistics collected, undeniable, and that should shock Americans that all of your foreign students are even more in Canada, and since we're 10 times less than you, do the math. Our percentage is 95% foreign students. That's my video. Share. Understand what Donald J. Trump is doing, where he's challenging BRICS and why, and what this means for Canada going forward with some kind of alliance with Communist China against the United States of America. Another notch in the belt for the United States, breaking Canada, moving the BRICS needle, which is a massive feat. Remember, 1.1 billion Indians, India, 1.5 billion Chinese, communist China. Look at BRICS. And this is America taking it on. 342 million people. Or basically almost 1/10 the size of that which they fight. And that is also Russia and many, many other. Brazil, do the math. USA is taking that all on, where Canada is aligning itself with that against the United States, its supposed best friend. Get this video shared. It's important. It's the truth, the hardcore truth. It needs to get out there. MAGA Americans need to understand this. They need to do this very, very simple, not complicated search, and they will realize why Trump is doing what he's doing. God bless everybody. Bye now.